Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here, okay, and to celebrate Women's History Month. I do have something from a guy, just in case, because I know I have a lot of young men here, okay? But while we're here, we're going to look at some famous women. So why are we here today? We're here to celebrate Women's History Month and to learn from the lives of some of the many famous women that have preceded us and some that are still amongst us today. And why are these women, people say that they're trailblazers. What's a trailblazer? Okay, well, we're going to find out. Anyone know what a trailblazer is, or why are these women called trailblazers? Well, you'll see, and it's important for us that we know that. Okay? Now, here's some famous women in history. Any of them here? Okay. Alicia Gardner, Priscilla Guerra, Mónica Saldívar, Krista Iglesias, Tammy Drogo, Deborah Lugo. Does anyone know who they are? Tell me. Okay, tell me, son. I'm sorry, what? They're taping us, so kind of speak a little loudly. I'm sorry?
I know Priscilla.
Okay, so why are they famous here?
Because they made it to state.
That's right. They made it to their, in what? This is from yesterday's paper. These girls are trailblazers. In my day, you wouldn't even think of girls doing powerlifting. Now, your friends here are excelling at this sport. Anyone know what it is? What do they have to do? Power lifting. They have to lift heavy weights from different positions. From a squatting position, from a dead weight position, and I forget the other one. But I like sports a lot. So yesterday, as I was reading the sports section, I saw the headlines. And I'll pass it around so that you can see it. But these women are trailblazers. They're setting the path for future United South students to follow. That's what a trailblazer is. Somebody that opens doors to others so that others may look at what they did and follow. In my day, like I said, in fact, not too many years ago, I didn't hear of anything about this. Now we're good in this here in Laredo. The men are good, the boys are good, and now the women are really good. So again, you have some trailblazers here in your own school. So again, thank you to them for inspiring us. And please, if you see them in the hall, please congratulate them because they're opening doors to us. Okay? Now, there's some other famous women. You'll see names. I took a combination of different people that you might know and others that you might not know. Amelia Earhart. How many of you have heard of her? Okay, she was a famous airplane pilot, right? And she tried to cross the Atlantic by herself. Okay, Krista McAuliffe. Everyone aware of who she was? She's an astronaut that died in space when the Challenger, or I forget which one it was that exploded. And so they've named schools after her. Okay, Eva Longoria. I put her there because she's from Corpus Christi. That's down the road, isn't it? How many of you have heard of Eva Longoria? She was married to Tony Parker from the San Antonio Spurs, okay? And so I thought more of you might have heard of her. But she has something special also that, look at what she's done, okay? She's now an actress, okay? A businesswoman, an activist. That means she fights for people's rights. She's very close to the president. She's a philanthropist. What does that mean, philanthropist? A person that gives away money for good causes, like for the homeless. In this case, she's got a sister that's mentally handicapped. And so she has opened a home for people like her sister. Okay? She's also written books. And guess what she's doing right now? She's going to school. She already had her degree, her bachelor's, but she's earning a master's so that she can know more about the causes that she's fighting for. Okay? So that's important for you to remember. She's still going to school. And you know how much money she made this year? $13 million. Is that a little bit of money or a lot of money? I can't hear you. I'm sorry. A lot of money. I never in my lifetime will make that much money. And yet, she went back to school to learn more. These people don't spend their time behind the television, wasting all this time, as you can see. Because to make 13 million and go to school and still have time to write books and be a businesswoman, because she produces. How many of you have seen it's like a novela, The Devious Maids? It's on television, but anyway, she's now not in the TV right now, but she's producing series. Like that Devious Maids is kind of funny, okay? It has some Hispanic ladies, and so in essence, she gives opportunities to other Hispanics in the film, and so she gives them a heads up, a push, okay? So again, she stays really, really busy, and she was here in Corpus Christi. She won a beauty award for Miss Corpus Christi, and then that beauty award led to her ending up in Hollywood. But this past year, she was given an award for the Philanthropist of the Year. That means she did really well in helping others with the money that she makes. And Sonia Sotomayor, that's a lady that I really, really admire. How many of you had heard about her? Okay? Not too many. You should familiarize yourself with her life. If we think we've got struggles, she had a difficult childhood. Sometimes you say, oh, but these people are famous, but they must have had it easy growing up. They must have been very rich or this and that and the other. On the contrary, Sonia Sotomayor's father was an alcoholic. She herself, so Ms. Sotomayor, who is now a U.S. Supreme Court Justice, she was diagnosed type 1 diabetic. If you don't know what that means, it's not good. And if I get emotional, it's because my granddaughter, who's 9 years old, has been diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic. And it's a struggle. It's a struggle to keep, you've heard of diabetics, but they're mainly the adults. These are kids that when they're little get diabetics. And they have to go through a lot of pain to keep their sugar levels up. They're sick all the time. And in spite of her problem, in spite of having been diagnosed at 9 with type 1 diabetes, she survived all of this. And guess what? She regrets that her mom was not there to give her the love she needed. Why? She wrote a book, and she asked the mother, Mom, because she describes in the book that it was like lying down in bed with her mother was like lying down in bed with a log. And so when she talked to her mom about this, her mom said, well, how was I supposed to know how to love? The mother was raised in an orphanage. So she had no parents. And when you don't know, when you don't get love from others people, then you don't know how to give love. I once hugged a friend just for Christmas, Merry Christmas, and she pulled back. And later she said, Alicia, I apologize, but in my home, we didn't hug. And there's a lot of homes that are like that. But so again, one has to experience things before you know how to share them. And in this case, it's not that the mother didn't love her or didn't want to give her hugs or tell her things, but also the mother was busy surviving. She was a nurse. And so she explained to her that. And so maybe now they've come to a better agreement. But that's a very important thing. Don't ever judge someone just by what you see, because you don't know their background. Yet in spite of all of these problems, you know what motivated her? The fact that she was diagnosed with diabetes. She thought she was going to die young, because a lot of kids don't make it. They die. That's why I get upset, emotional when I talk to you about it. Because I see my little girl, and it causes us a lot of problems. She can go to parties, but she can't eat because it's not the right time according to the insulin. And then if she does, the sugar goes really high and she can go into a coma. If it goes really low, she can go into a coma. So she points out that motivated her to do the best that she could at everything she did, because she felt she had little time. And so whatever it was, she's now a very successful Supreme Court justice. And she's a trailblazer. And let's look at what we have next. While I'm talking, while this is off, let me talk to you about one of the guys, James Franco. Have any of you seen Spider-Man, the very first one? Okay, he was Spider-Man's friend. He was Peter Parker's friend, James Franco. He's been in a bunch of movies. But again, do you know what he's doing now? He's incredible, and you can look him up. His name is easy to spell, James Franco. He's written several, he went back to school, okay? That's what he did. He's also an actor. He still does movies, but he likes to write. So he went and got his degree because he had not finished it when he became an actor. And then what did he do? He went on and he liked what he did. And for his class, he had to write like a movie. And so it's been shown. And then now he's on a roll. But he's a unique person. He's enrolled in 4 colleges in New York, okay, majoring in 4 different things. He's just a really, like, probably close to a genius. But his mother says he has the ability to focus and get the idea and go on to the next thing. He's got a secretary that keeps him on task so that he remembers when he has to eat, what he has to do, where he has to be. But he's majoring like in script writing. He's majoring in art because he loves art. He's majoring in 4 different things there in the college, and now he's going to go in and get his doctorate at Yale. I mean, do these people think that they're going to be movie stars forever? No, you're not, right? You become old, and then people don't want you. Or something could happen to you, and you can't work in that field. So one has to be prepared. You can never prepare enough. Look at me. I'm 73 years old, and I'm here with you, and I also have two part-time jobs, okay? I work with Gateway Charter School, doing the same thing, training teachers, giving presentations, and observing teachers, giving feedback. Then I have another job with Region 1, where the company I used to work with, because there's going to be a new evaluation for principals and a new evaluation for teachers. Why do I still have these jobs at 73? And they're good jobs. Why do you think? Any idea as to why I might still be working? Because I'm still studying, okay? I stay up to date on what the latest things are in education so that I can pass that knowledge on to the teachers that I work with so that they in turn can produce better teachers and better students, okay? Because there's a lot of changes out there. And one of the things that I want to point out to you is that you've got to roll with the changes. If you don't study for the rest of your life, people, you're going to be stuck like a dinosaur in the past. Because a lot of words and things that have come out that they've discovered now were not in school when I was going to school. Think about how far back I went to school. If I graduated from high school in 59, okay? Now we're 2014. So if I had stayed where I was and say, no, well, I already have my degree and I have my master's and I'm certified all the way to principal, so that's all I need. No, because some things happen in life, they hit you in the face, and then what are you going to do? You have to be prepared. After 19 years of marriage and 6 kids, I became a single parent. The kids were 8, 9, 11, 13, 15, and 17. Now, how am I going to provide a decent living for these children? So even though I had these other degrees, I had stopped working because my husband had told me to. So then what did I do? I went right back to school and picked up another degree in counseling. And I found a job as a special ed counselor because I was already a special ed teacher, and now I had the counseling certificate. So you can put those two together and you can counsel special ed kids or you can counsel regular ed kids. So again, never in my wildest dreams when I got married did I think that I would be raising 6 children by myself. And again, if I get emotional, it's because it wasn't easy. But the education helped. Thank God I always had jobs. I had jobs. I was a teacher during the day. I taught at LCC at night, and I would teach ELL classes to people that had to communicate with Michigan. And so I worked across the river through Tammy U at the Maquilas. But believe me, education is the key. It's so important. I was telling them I'm headed for Germany this summer. I headed for Germany last summer also. I have a 2-year-old grandson. And so my son is in banking. He has a degree in finance and accounting. And so again, he too was prepared. They sent him to work over there for 1 year. They liked him. He was single, even though, you might not agree. He didn't get married until he was like 40 years old. But by then, he had saved a lot of money. And so he toured all over Europe, and now he's still living there. And I'm the fortunate one because I get to go spend a month over there with him and his wife, who's from Hungary, and my little grandson. In the meantime, we communicate with technology. I do FaceTime with him all the time, and it's nice to see him, even though I can't hug him, okay? But again, You know, you never know what life is going to throw at you. I'm a cancer survivor also. What if I had not made it? Just think about my 6 kids, because they were not out of high school yet. Remember, they were little. So again, the best thing you can do is to educate yourself. Okay? And let me continue with this. First of all, do you have any questions for me? All right? What are some points that I have been stressing? Who wants to share a couple of ideas? Because the brain needs time to process. If not, it's like rewriting on it. Okay? Who would like to share one idea that you've heard right now? Yes?
You can never get enough education.
You cannot what?
You can never get enough education.
You can never get enough education. What's another point that you've seen me make? Do these people spend their time in front of a TV? No. They're busy working hard, doing productive things. Okay? Because when you grow up, you'll see that you have to give back to the community that gave you things. And one of the important things that I want to stress to you is that Hispanics, we're the largest population now in Texas, but yet we're also supposed to be the most illiterate. What does illiterate mean? That we don't know how to read. It's super important. I know that you say, oh, I don't need this, I don't need this course. You will need every single one of those things that they're teaching you right now. Because, again, you've got to be prepared. And so let's go on right now. Katharine Graham, that lady became a publisher of the largest newspaper in the world. But what happened? Her husband died, and he passed it on to her. But she did a great job, and so now she's deceased. But she had to take up the torch. Like I said, you never know what happens when you get married or just in life with your parents. Okay, but again, she was turned this big business over, and she had to learn. And being a woman, it hasn't been easy. The other day, Patricia Arquette won an Academy Award for Best Actress. She's in a movie called Boyhood. And when she went up to get the award, did any of you see it? What did she comment on?
How women don't get paid equally as men.
Women get paid pennies compared to what men earn. Is that fair? It sure isn't. Is that fair, girls? No. And so you have to be aware of it. All of these women have had to fight for everything that they've gotten. Because before this, it had been a man's world. Women are just beginning to shine. And if they're knocked down, what do? They get back up and do it again. And a sample of this is Lindsey Vonn. If any of you have seen the Winter Olympics, she's a famous skier in the world. Okay? She's one of the best in 4 areas that she competes in. But what happened to her? Recently, she shattered her knee. Okay? And so, it was February when she shattered her knee. By August, she was up there already competing. So did she stay and dwindle upon, oh, I'm so sad, I hurt my knee? No. She did her rehab, did it hard, and got back on the skis and tried again. And she didn't win, but she competed. That's the important thing. Now she's taking a rest to prepare for the next Olympics. So next time you see the Winter Olympics, and I have a picture of her to show you in a minute. Okay? Oh, I'm sorry. And this lady, Linda Alvarado, is in construction in Colorado. Now, when did you used to hear that women built houses? Is that something that happened before? No, it was a man's job. But why not women? You take the same courses, math courses, you can be an architect, you can be an engineer, so why not build a house? So now she's an entrepreneur in Colorado, okay? That's why I looked her up. Of course, Senator Clinton, you know about. The next lady is amazing. Gabrielle Gifford, she was a U.S. representative. When someone came, she was greeting people, like her voters, and someone came and shot her, okay? And shot her in the head, and they thought she was going to die, but she lived. But she had to learn how to speak all over again. And she's another amazing lady. If you just look her up. Lady Gaga, she's her own self, right? All of you know that one, right? And she's amazing too, because she started, I don't know if you know, but aside from singing her type of songs, now she's singing with Tony Bennett, who's my age or older. And she's been pretty cool. At the Academy Awards, she also sang The Sound of Music. And she spent every day practicing for months because she knew it was going to be across the world when the TV program came out. And this year is 50 years since The Sound of Music came out, the movie. And she sang it beautifully. She's got nothing but good reviews. But what does she do? All of these people, they don't keep at the level that they are. They keep on trying to get better and better and better. And they're not always good. Sometimes they have off days. The other day, LeBron James didn't make 2 points that could have put his team over the top. Tony Parker sometimes has his days that he can't hit a basket like he used to. But they keep practicing and practicing and practicing, just like Lindsey Vonn that we talked about. Oprah Winfrey, I don't have to tell you what she's done. Amazing story, okay? She's a billionaire. Rita Moreno, she's older than I am, and she's still out there performing and dancing and looking beautiful. She came out in a movie, West Side Story. Mother Teresa is deceased, but she won the Nobel Prize for the work that she did with the poor. Sandra Day O'Connor, Sotomayor would not be there if not for her, because she became the first U.S. Supreme Court justice that was a woman. So that opened the door for Ms. Ginsburg. There's also another woman, but they've just kind of retired. Sotomayor is, I think, the only woman left right now. But again, you have to aim high. Because if you aim low, you're going to fall below the line. It's like when you're aiming for a 70. Why aim for a 70? You're going to get into 60s. You got to aim high so that then you can at least have some cushion to fall on. Okay? Then we have some famous Laredo women. Senator Zaffirini, amazing record in the Senate. She has not missed one vote. When it's come time to vote for the senators, she has not missed one vote. And yet, she manages to be a successful mother. She has a son, Carlos, who's also an attorney. Betty Flores, I don't know if she came to speak to you, but she was here last year speaking to you, okay? She's the first mayor of Laredo. Judge Elma Salinas Ender, she also was like the first woman judge here in Laredo. Now, another woman took her place, Becky Palomo. But see how these people open the doors for us women. Okay, now they're opening doors for you. The next one, my doctor is Gladys Kronfel. in that family, they came from Honduras. And her father had to get away because politically they wanted to kill her father. Okay, so they went to New Orleans, and then from New Orleans they decided to come to Laredo to make a living. In that family, 2 of her sisters are attorneys, and 2 are pharmacists, and then 2 are pharmacists and 2 are doctors. Okay, and so they're truly amazing. They're all women in that family. Okay, Sister Rosemary, what can I say about her? You all know her because she comes here to talk to you all the time. She's a tireless fighter of the poor. And she's out there helping people, and she runs the Casa Misericordia, which is a home for battered women. And so if you don't know her, you're missing out. Too many other women, important women here in Laredo to remember. Okay? But again, what qualities, if any, do you think these women had in common? Think for a minute. What qualities, if any, do you think these women had in common? Picture yourself 10 years into the future. Project yourself. Close your eyes and think of yourself 10 years from now. And imagine, where do you want to be? What do you want to see yourself doing 10 years from now? Sitting behind the TV or in front of the TV? Hopefully not. Okay? Hopefully in 10 years from now we'll have very successful people here. Okay? Why is it important that you start thinking about this now? Okay? So again, let's look. It's important to start thinking about this now, and what should you be doing about it? If you don't think it's important, then you can rationalize, talk to your friends. Okay, who's this? There's a Judge glass trophies that they give, and she won one at that particular place. Okay, so let's go over, before time runs out, what are some important things to remember? We've got to begin with the end in mind. This is the first of Stephen Covey's 7 habits of highly effective people. Why do we have to begin with the end in mind? Because we have to know, where are we going? If you don't know where you're going, how can you prepare yourself? So that's a very important thing. Figure out where I want to be. And then when you do that, then you do the second thing, which says what? What's the second thing right there?
Set goals.
Okay, set goals. So many of you don't set goals. And there's 2 kinds of goals, okay? There's short-term goals and long-term goals. We can't just set long-term goals, because we've got to set little wins in between to keep us going, okay? So we set short-term goals so that we can experience success on the way to our goal. What's the next? Okay, well, right here, can you read this? In their book, Gun Ho, the authors write that. Can you read this, please?
Goals are marker posts you drive into the future landscape between where you are and where you want to be. They focus attention on productivity.
Okay, so again, you set your marker post with your goals so that they can keep you focused on what you have to do. And again, it's important that you write these goals down so that you can be reminded. Research shows that if you write the goals down, you'll be more apt to keep them than if you don't. All right? The next one, would you be so kind as to read, create?
Create a sense of urgency in your life. Tomorrow comes sooner than you think. Will you be prepared?
Okay? Remember that what led Sonia Sotomayor to produce as much as she could was that she didn't know how many days she was going to live, right? Do we know how many days we're going to live? No. So again, we have to be prepared. When I was told I had cancer, do you think they gave me time? No. I went for a test. I came out of my mammogram, and they said, you know, you need to go see a surgeon right away. It appears that you might have cancer. Wow, your life just drops. So again, I get emotional, right? Because I've been through a lot. Okay? And so any of you could go through this at any time. So, will you be prepared? That's the important thing. The next one. Would you please read that, son? Become
a lifelong learner. If not, you'll be stuck in the past.
That's right. I already mentioned that. You'll be stuck in the past if you don't change when change happens. And change in this century is happening faster than you think. Look at the phones we get. You barely get one, and you get another one that has better functions, right? The screen is larger. It does these things. Now, what's the latest thing? The Apple Watch, okay? You have the whole computer thing in a little watch, okay? Amazing. So if you think you knew all that there was to know about being in technology, then you'll be stuck in the past. Because these people at Apple are all pushing things outside the box. And so they give themselves time to think outside the box. You don't see results easily. This is the first product that they've put out since the man that started the company, Steve Jobs, died. Okay? Also, what's the next one, son? Can you read that?
Which one?
Reflect.
Reflect on your value system, or your value system, your beliefs will guide the decisions you make in life.
All right? So again, what are our values? Come in touch with your values. Sometimes you say, oh, I don't discriminate. And then when push comes to shove, you realize that you do discriminate. Because say that your brother starts going out with someone from another nationality. Or like my son that married a Hungarian. I mean, when you go to Europe, there's tons of nationalities over there. And so again, we have to be open because everyone is equal. We can't believe that we're higher than others because others think they're higher than us, and that's not a good feeling. Okay? We have not seen discrimination in our lifetime here. But before our lifetime, there was a lot of discrimination against the Mexicanos, the Chicanos. Okay? You're lucky you're not experiencing that. But people right outside here and when in Kingsville, there was a lot of discrimination before. So again, realize your value system. And it's been said that if you hang around with people that are successful, some of that will rub off on you. So watch your friends. They're not friends if they want to lead you into trouble. Okay. Look at this. This is important. Can you read that for me?
Choose to make every day a good day. Monitor your thought processes. Remember that saying, you are what you eat. Well, we are what we think.
Okay? That's very important. You saw that the minute I put sad thoughts in my head, what happened? I got emotional. That's the same thing that happens to you. Okay? If I keep those sad thoughts in my mind, I won't be able to make a presentation because I'll be crying. I'll sit down and before I know it, I'm crying. But you don't want to hear people that are crying. Okay? So again, I have to shift my thinking. It's okay to think about that pain because it was part of my life. But if I stay dwelling in that pain, that is not good for us. You can't function. Okay? So again, this is another important thing. Listen, listen, listen. God gave us 2 ears so that we could listen more than what we talk. So be with the other person and listen to what they have to say. Okay? Communicate. If you're in a team, like here the teachers, they have to communicate with those up above them and with those below them, okay? And also sometimes with the feeder schools. So communicate. And this one, foster positive attitudes. Because here, you're choosing to make every day a good day. I can go out there and it's raining and it's depressing, but you make the decision on whether it's going to be a good day or not. And remember, foster positive attitudes, for no one wants to be around negative people. And walk the talk. That means don't just give out a bunch of orders and you want them to do it, but you do something else. No, you have to, if you say something and they're doing it, then you as a leader have to do it too. And be prepared to win. Practice visualization. You know what that means? In your mind, close your eyes and think of yourself as a winner in whatever it is you're doing. If you're competing for UIL, practice visualizing the fact that you're going to win that competition. If you're a power lifter, if you're a football player, if you're a teacher, okay, practice being successful by visualizing. Teams spend a lot of money on psychologists because visualization works. Those guys that kick the field goals, they have them visualizing themselves making that extra point, because 1 point can make it or break the game. Okay? And so, again, this is, I hope that I've left you with some things that are important. And there's many other things, but I'm limited in time. I brought some books here. One of them is As a Man Thinketh. It's a very, very small book, but it has a lot of profound meaning. It's a tiny, tiny book. And you can look it up, and there's a place where you can download it free. This one I had to buy. But this man believes in it so much that he lets you download it from the internet. This man, James Allen. Okay? Then there's also these motivational books on the based on the teamwork of the Blue Angels. Okay? It's very important that they visualize being successful. Okay? This understanding, eliminating stress and finding serenity in life and relationships. This shows us that sometimes what hurts us is not our friend, but our expectations of that friend. So a lot of times, or your boyfriend, okay? A lot of times you get in a fight with your girlfriend. Well, your mind, you didn't talk to her clearly about what was in your mind. That's called a paradigm. So your mind, you're thinking, oh, we're going to go do this, we're going to go do that. And then she's thinking, oh, we're going to go do this. But it's a different paradigm, a different picture. And when those two paradigms aren't aligned, they clash and there's problems. Okay? But sometimes you cause the problems. Or in a relationship, you're expecting your husband or boyfriend to bring you flowers when you know he's never brought you flowers. Okay? So why have that expectation? Then you're going to get angry with him because he didn't bring you flowers, but you've known that all along. He's not that kind of personality. That's a whole other training. That, you know, it's our expectations of others. And so I want to also state that how do you learn about successful people? Here's that lady, Catherine Graham, the one that inherited the newspaper from her husband. There's biographies on people's lives, okay? This man, he died, but before he died, he wrote this book, The Last Lecture. I guess I didn't bring some books by this little boy that was about 11 years old, but before he died, he wrote several books of poems. So people, don't let obstacles prevent you from being successful. Because just like other people got up and got started again, Some people have to go back to the beginning and work themselves up again. But if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do, because we have to be prepared. I want to thank you. I'm very proud of the fact that I'm the mother of 6 children. I've been in education more than 40 years. I retired with 40 years, but I'm still working. I consider myself a good friend, and most importantly, the thing that keeps me employed is that I'm a lifelong learner. I want to thank you guys for being a wonderful, attentive audience, okay? So again, thank you so much. Have a wonderful year.